Welcome to the channel, Coin Lovers. Today we're exploring the top 2 rare United States of America 5-cent coins that collectors are always eager to find. These nickels come in a variety of conditions and mint marks, and each small detail can have a big impact on their value. From iconic early designs to unusual minting errors, these special 5-cent coins continue to stand out in the world of coin collecting. So check your own nickels carefully. There might be a hidden treasure waiting for you. Let's get started. First up, the United States of America 5-cent coin from the year 1959, a fascinating Jefferson nickel that carries both historical value and collectible interest in very fine condition. This coin may seem ordinary at first glance, but there is a lot more behind its story, design, and place in numismatics. The 1959 nickel comes from a period of American history when coinage was shifting into more modern designs, yet still holding on to the traditional craftsmanship that collectors appreciate. Even though this coin doesn't feature a mint mark, it was minted in Philadelphia, which produced millions of nickels that year, supplying coins for everyday use across the country. Collectors love the 1959 nickel because it belongs to the early era of the long Jefferson nickel series, which began in 1938 and is still used today. Its design features a youthful and detailed portrait of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse, a design that remained largely unchanged for decades and became instantly recognizable worldwide and very fine condition. A 1959 nickel shows light but noticeable circulation wear, while still maintaining clear details on Jefferson's hair, facial features, and coat. The reverse should also display Monticello with defined lines on the steps and building edges, even if slightly softened from everyday handling. The absence of a mint mark may make the coin look simple, but to collectors, it signals its Philadelphia origin, where the majority of circulating coins were produced. Despite being common in lower grades, this date becomes much more collectible in higher and very fine condition. One of the appealing aspects of this particular coin is how well it has survived over the decades. Nickels often take a beating in circulation, so when an example remains in very fine condition, it shows that someone took care of it or it simply endured time better than most. This coin also reflects America's economic period in the late 1950s, post-war growth, expanding industries, and increased production from the U.S. Mint. The 1959 nickel circulated during a time of tremendous social and technological change in the country. The reverse design featuring Monticello is a tribute to Jefferson's home and highlights the architectural beauty that the designer, Felix Schlag, intended to showcase. In very fine condition, the building retains enough detail to appreciate its elegant structure. Collectors also examine the steps of Monticello, known as full steps, when fully visible, but examples from 1959 with perfect steps are incredibly rare. While your coin in very fine condition will not have full steps, it still carries aesthetic value and historical charm. Holding a 1959 nickel is like holding a small piece of American culture that passed through the hands of thousands of people during its active life. Each scratch, mark, and smooth area tells a story of travel, commerce, and time. This date is also interesting because it comes before the major composition and design changes that affected many U.S. coins in the later decades. It still uses the classic copper-nickel alloy, giving it durability and the familiar silver-gray color. The Jefferson nickel series has many collectors who focus on building full-year sets, and a strong example from 1959 in very fine condition fits perfectly into such collections, especially when trying to avoid coins that are too worn. Even though it is not considered rare or extremely valuable, the 1959 nickel remains a popular collectible for beginners and experienced numismatists alike. It's an affordable coin with solid historical significance. For anyone learning about coin grading, this 1959 nickel in very fine condition is a great example to study because it clearly shows moderate wear while keeping the major design elements intact. It's the kind of coin that teaches what a circulated yet still attractive piece looks like. Many collectors appreciate nickels from the 1950s because they combine age, durability, and design consistency. The 1959 nickel is nearly 7 decades old, making it a true vintage piece that continues to survive in collections today. If you examine the rim and edges of a very fine 1959 nickel, you'll notice they remain mostly sharp without severe flattening, which helps confirm its grade and overall preservation. These small features matter when determining value. The coin's metal composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel gives it strength and resistance to corrosion, explaining why many nickels from this period still survive in good condition. It's one of the reasons collectors enjoy them. They age well compared to other denominations. In the market, a 1959 nickel in very fine condition isn't extremely valuable, but it does bring more interest than heavily worn examples. Collectors tend to pay modest premiums for better preserved coins from the earlier decades of the Jefferson series. Finding one in this grade today is becoming less common, as most examples are either heavily circulated or already secured in private collections. This makes your coin a nice representation of mid-20th century American coinage. Even though this coin lacks silver content, its history, durability, and design appeal make it an important part of U.S. numismatics. Collectors often keep it as part of a chronological nickel set or as an educational piece. As we wrap up, the 1959 Jefferson nickel without a mint mark in very fine condition stands as a durable, classic, and meaningful coin for collectors. It symbolizes tradition, American history, and the beauty of everyday currency that has lasted through generations. Next up, the United States of America 5-cent coin from the year 1941, a Jefferson nickel that carries wartime history, pre-silver era design, and impressive survival in very fine condition. This is a coin that stands out to collectors not because it is rare, but because of its story and the era it represents. The 1941 nickel was struck just before America entered World War II, making it part of the last group of standard composition nickels before the U.S. Mint changed materials in 1942. This places the 1941 nickel at a unique point in history, both economically and politically. This coin does not have a mint mark, which means it was minted in Philadelphia, the main producer of circulating coins at the time. Philadelphia mint coins from the early 1940s were widely used across the country, and surviving examples in very fine condition are appreciated by collectors today. The obverse of the coin features the portrait of Thomas Jefferson, designed by Felix Schlag, showing strong detail in Jefferson's hair, face, and coat, especially in a very fine grade. Although some wear as expected, the remaining details still shine clearly. In a reverse, Monticello stands as the centerpiece of the design, and in very fine condition, the overall structure is still visible with softened but readable lines. The building's dome, windows, and edges remain distinguishable even with circulation wear. Collectors pay special attention to the steps of Monticello, which are rarely fully visible on circulated coins of this era. In very fine condition, the steps will be partially worn, yet the structure remains attractive and balanced. The 1941 nickel represents a period when America was rebuilding from the Great Depression and entering a rapidly changing world. This coin passed through the hands of people living through a defining era of global and national history. What makes this coin special is its durability. Despite being nearly 85 years old, many examples still survive thanks to the nickel-copper alloy, which is strong and resistant to corrosion. This is why Jefferson nickels remain one of the most commonly collected U.S. coins and very fine condition. The rim and inscriptions of the 1941 nickel stay mostly sharp, showing only moderate smoothness. The motto "In God We Trust," the year 1941, and Jefferson's profile remain boldly visible. A coin from this era often carries natural wear patterns, each telling its own story. The light smoothing across the high points of the coin shows it was used in daily transactions over many years, yet still preserved well enough to remain collectible. The reverse lettering, including Monticello, 5 cents, and United States of America, is typically strong in very fine examples. This helps authenticate the grade and gives the coin a pleasing overall appearance. Collectors appreciate 1941 nickels because they represent the early period of the Jefferson series, which has become one of the longest-running coin designs in U.S. mint history. This coin marks the roots of a design that lasted unchanged for decades. While the 1941 nickel is not considered rare, finding one in very fine condition is becoming harder as time goes on. Most surviving examples today are heavily worn, making better-preserved coins more desirable for collectors building date sets. This coin also holds interest for beginners in the hobby. It is an affordable piece of American history, making it perfect for new collectors wanting to learn grading standards while building a historical timeline of U.S. nickels. Looking closely at this coin allows collectors to appreciate the artistry of Felix Schlag's design, a design that successfully balanced realism, simplicity, and national significance. In very fine condition, this artistry remains clearly visible. The metal composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel played a key role in the survival of this coin. Its strength allowed it to circulate for decades without degrading into an unrecognizable form, contributing to its collectability today. During the early 1940s, coins like this were used in factories, transportation, shops, and wartime preparations, adding even more character to the wear patterns found on surviving examples. Every scratch and mark reflects real life from that era. Even though the 1941 nickel does not contain silver, its historical value and age make it an important piece for American coin collectors. It represents the final years before the United States transitioned into wartime coin compositions. When examining the coin under light, the remaining details reveal the craftsmanship and durability that made the Jefferson nickel successful. Very fine examples show enough sharpness to remain visually appealing and worth preserving. The market value for a 1941 nickel in very fine condition is modest but strong for collectors who value quality over rarity. It fills an essential spot in Jefferson nickel collections and completes pre-war sets beautifully. As we close this video, the 1941 no-mint mark Jefferson nickel remains a charming and historically rich coin that has survived decades of circulation while maintaining impressive detail. It stands as a reminder of America's past and the resilience of everyday currency. Next up, the United States of America 5 cents coin from 1958 with the D mint mark. This Jefferson nickel is shown in very good condition, and we're going to explore its background, features, history, and collectible value. The 1958 D Jefferson nickel is an interesting coin because it comes from the Denver Mint, one of the most active mints during the mid-20th century. Although millions were produced, finding one today in very good condition that still shows its details clearly is a rewarding discovery for any collector. This coin represents an era when the U.S. Mint was focusing on strong production after the early 1950s. The Jefferson nickel design, created by Felix Schlag, has been one of the most recognizable American coin designs in circulation for decades. On the obverse, you'll see the portrait of Thomas Jefferson facing left. Even in very good condition, you can still see the outline of his hair, collar, and facial structure. The motto "In God We Trust" appears on the left side, along with the word "Liberty" and the date 1958 placed on the right. Just beside the date is the small but important D mint mark, showing that this coin was minted in Denver. For collectors, mint marks play a key role in identifying how rare or common a coin may be. Turning to the reverse side, Monticello, Jefferson's famous home, stands proudly in the center. Even though the coin is in very good condition, you can still see the general structure of the building, the steps, and the dome outline. Above Monticello, the phrase "E pluribus unum" is visible, while below it, you'll find the name Monticello along with 5 cents and United States of America. These details help confirm the authenticity of the coin and its design. The 1958 D nickel is made of a copper-nickel alloy, giving it durability and the classic silver-gray appearance. Even with signs of wear, the coin maintains a solid and attractive look that many collectors appreciate. Finding a 1958 D Jefferson nickel in very good condition makes it a nice addition for those who are building date and mint collections or simply enjoy older circulated U.S. coins. While the coin is not among the rarest Jefferson nickels, its condition, mint mark, and age give it collectible appeal. Collectors often look for examples that preserve original details, even if the coin has circulated for many years. Very good condition means the coin shows clear wear but still retains important design elements. For older nickels, this is a perfectly acceptable grade for casual collectors. This particular year and mint mark combination is especially popular among beginner collectors who want to complete their nickel sets without paying high prices for rare varieties. At the same time, more experienced collectors also appreciate the 1958 D because it represents the last few years before design and minting changes began appearing in U.S. coinage. Studying coins like this gives us a better understanding of minting history, production quality, and how coins age over time. Every scratch and smooth area tells a story of decades of circulation. It's fascinating to imagine how many hands this 1958 D nickel may have passed through, from stores to pockets to transactions that shaped everyday lives in America. For those interested in value, circulated examples like this typically hold modest monetary worth, but their real value lies in history, interest, and nostalgia. Collectors always enjoy examining details such as rim wear, lettering clarity, and the sharpness of Monticello, which help determine condition and grade. Even in very good condition, the 1958 D nickel remains visually appealing and iconic, a timeless representation of mid-century American currency. If you have a Jefferson nickel collection, this coin fits nicely into the 1950s section and helps complete a meaningful timeline of U.S. minting history. Holding a coin from 1958 gives you a direct connection to the past, reminding us how long these small pieces of metal survive and circulate in the world. Coins like this inspire many collectors to continue searching, learning, and expanding their passion for American numismatics.